I asked AI to do a full audit on this e-commerce store. It came back with a list of messaging problems, the wrong headline, buried value proposition, weak product descriptions, but they were all fixable. Then I actually did one other step and the story completely changed. Hi, I'm Tracy. In this video, I want to show you how you can use AI to audit your online presence, whether it's a website, your socials, or the whole shebang, and get information and to tell you what to fix. Now, I started with some basic information and I moved through the steps so that AI, in this case Claude CoWork, could actually understand what this business is about. I'm not able to show you exactly the niche and stuff like that because unfortunately when you show websites, live websites, some people tend to do not so nice things to them. So it does not matter though, because you will get the information and you will be able to take this information and apply it to your online presence. And it does not matter what platform you're using. The information and strategy is all the same. You have an online presence, you want to know where you're at, what needs to be fixed, and in what priority. So let's get started. So the first thing I did was put the URL into Claude Chat. So this chat has no information regarding this e-commerce site, no personalization, nothing. If you don't have your Claude set up for personalization, you should watch my Claude setup video and get that set up first because that will help you in this. But for now, I just gave Claude the URL and it came back a little not so nice. So here's step one, and you can do this on your own site exactly like this. Open a brand new Claude chat, no personalization, no context, nothing about the business, paste in the homepage URL. That's it. For this one, it pulls the niche. It tells me it's a WooCommerce store, the products, who's it for, then the observations start, and they're not so great. Last update, April 2023. Hero image from 2015. Logo, 2014. Navigation images, untouched since the website launched. And then from the home page alone, it understands that there's no brand differentiator, no reason to stay. Prices show a decent range, but nothing tells you why to buy here. No trust signals, no social proof, no why us. And remember, it knows nothing about this business except the URL. Okay, pretty brutal. That's just the website. It hasn't looked at the socials. It hasn't looked at the competition. So let's do the next phase where I actually put this in a project for Claude CoWork. Now let me show you what changes with one small step. Still no personalization, nothing about the business saved in Claude. All I did was put this in CoWork project and ask for a brand audit, and it comes back with a lot more. So starting at the top, it's saying the banner is the most valuable space on that page, and it's just floating brand logos. No offer, no reason to stay on the site. The logo works but says nothing. The whole thing reads like a catalog, not a company, right down to the photography, which is just flat product shots. And there's a real story here, family owned, but it's buried in the second paragraph of the About page. Product pages are catalog style with the SKU and the name, thin descriptions, barely any features about the products. There's a few broken pages and almost no reviews. And here's what matters the most. There are genuine selling points sitting completely unused. This is a Canadian store. The prices are in Canadian dollars. Duty and customs are already paid for. For a Canadian buyer, that's a real reason to choose this store. It's not mentioned anywhere other than super fine print on the bottom in the footer. And unfortunately, the socials match the site. YouTube is effectively dead. Instagram and Facebook, they're there, they're doing nothing. The pattern across all of it. Launched around 2014, set up the digital presence in year one, ran on minimum effort ever since. So no meaningful updates since about 2020. So now I get a priority order. Reviews, homepage message, product descriptions, then content and SEO. And not just Google, but AI search optimization as well. So now I ask it about the competition, and it goes and pulls competitor research, and that kicks it into checking the site's own conversion and whether when people land, they're actually buying, and the site's reputation at the same time. Now the conversion actually looks okay, but there's no Apple Pay, no Google Pay at checkout. And in 2026, people expect that. So even how you take the money needs a look. But remember, this is still an observation. It's a smart observation, but there's no data behind it yet. So hold that thought. So I ask for a proper report and make sure we have positioning, audience fit, trust, and the one that matters the most, the losing moment. Where does the site lose the customer? And underneath all of it, what's the real problem? It goes and builds the report. So it comes back and says the website is the one focus. We should be focusing on the website. And I challenge it and say, well, shouldn't we do socials? Like right now, you just throw up some Instagram reels or some socials and start pumping it up. It comes back and says no, because there is some traffic, it feels, coming to that website. Okay, and so we decide that it's the website, and it starts going into some copy, and it's got some headline copy that it wants me to do. And I go, okay, that's fabulous, but you don't have any real data. Like, this is just you going off what you know of this website. So the next thing I do is I say, hey, let's make sure that this project, one, has project instructions that tell Claude CoWork what this is all about. Two, that it has real stats. It has Google Analytics. It has socials of who's doing what. So it confirms that that audit was observation and competitive analysis, but there was no actual data. Now, I pulled down the analytics myself. I could have got AI to do it, and I will do a separate video showing you how to get AI to pull down your analytics, and as well how to set up any of the Google Analytics issues. But for this one, I just grabbed the data, threw it in the project folder, and let Claude CoWork see it. Okay, now that we've got some more data in there, we're updating the report because we want to make sure that we're going in the right priority and we're fixing things that should be fixed and are going to make a difference. There's so much you can fix in your online presence, but what's actually going to make the difference? And that's where you really have to be strategic, and you really have to think about your time and your output and what you're doing and if it's going to move the needle. So now we've got a brand new picture. We started with the URL, then the next step was we gave it a little bit of insight. Then we actually gave it the data. And when I do that, there's a big change. So let's look at that. Okay, this time it's not guessing. I pulled the analytics and dropped them straight into the project. Same audit, completely different story. The traffic is mostly smoke. A lot of it is bots. It tells me what the store actually made, and there were months it made nothing. And on top of that, Google Analytics was running but never set up to track the e-commerce side. So there was no real view of what people did on the site or where they dropped off. One brand page is carrying almost all the real traffic. The homepage, invisible in search. The keywords are not hitting Google at all. And one of the only things still pulling people in is a service they don't even do anymore. And it sends them nowhere. So here's the deal. Pass one, the problem was your messaging is wrong. Now with real data, the problem is this store has nearly stopped functioning as a business. Same site. The only difference was the data I gave it. And that's kind of the whole point of this video. I did ask, now with the new report, should we still look at the website or the socials? And it's saying website first. And it's telling me why. It's saying there's a certain amount of people landing on that site, but not converting, where your socials have no traction. it's not sending anyone. So again, it's doubling down that it wants to fix the website. So they're pretty well saying if you're going to fix your socials and before fixing their site, it's like running ads to a broken store. So they want, or Claude CoWork wants, fix what happens when someone arrives at the website, then drive more people to arrive. That does make sense to me. So fix where you collect the money and then send traffic to it. Does that make sense? If not, let me know. Ask me questions in the comment. I really am hoping that these videos help you bring your online presence to where you want it to be and to help you grow your business. So here's where we land. A priority order based on what the data says will actually move the needle. First, fix the e-commerce tracking and Google Analytics, because from today forward, I want to see exactly what people do on that site. Then the service page, redirect it so the traffic it's still pulling in goes somewhere that actually sells. Then optimize the product pages, then reviews, and socials come last, not first. Because driving traffic to a site that doesn't convert is just not right. And if you pasted your own URL back at the start, this is your roadmap. Don't stop at that first read. Put it in a project, then give it your real numbers. The next one we're going to do is a brand audit and start auditing this for positioning, identity, visually, and work through this e-commerce site and continue to understand where the holes are and what we need to do. I hope you follow me on this because this applies to anything you're doing. Find your benchmark. Where are you now? What's wrong? What needs to be fixed? What's going to move the needle the fastest and the quickest, because that's your top priority, and then everything else. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.